everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I am so excited about today's video because I have been waiting to share it with you for so long. Today's video is all about meal prepping and meal planning. If I don't have meals already planned or prepped in my mind of what I'm gonna eat, I'll look into a fridge full of food and I'll be like, yo, what am I about to eat? Because I see nothing. But if you plan ahead and you actually do a little bit of meal prep beforehand, you can go right into your fridge and know exactly what you can eat for snacks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and dessert. So I've got all of those things covered in today's video. I will show you how I personally meal prep and meal plan. It's definitely different than your typical got your Tupperware and have all your food in it and you're eating the same thing for a week. I plan and buy my groceries based off meals that I want to eat, and then I'll cook and prep them in separate containers, but I don't assemble the meal until I'm ready to eat. That's just what I prefer. That's what I found has worked best for me. And you know what? Whatever gets me to eat quick and fast and healthy, I'm all for it. Like, I ain't complaining, like, no. And without further ado, chop chop, let's get to the kitchen. So I'm gonna be walking you through this video of how I prep, and I'm gonna go based off categories. So the first category is going to be grains. A grain that I really like is quinoa. I think that quinoa is really fun and a good alternative to rice. Sometimes you're just sick of rice and you're like, yo, let me get some quinoa. So quinoa is great, and it also has a little bit more protein in it as well. It has 6 grams per half cup. Now, if you don't have quinoa, or if you're on a little bit stricter of a budget, white rice is also great. Instead of 6 grams of protein per half cup, you're getting 3 grams. That's still okay. It's just nice to have a little bit of added protein, especially if you're trying to lose weight or even build muscle. The more protein, the better, in my opinion. So to prep this quinoa, I am just going to pour 1 cup of uncooked quinoa for 2 cups of water. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this cook for about 15 minutes. And after it's cooked, it should be nice, light, and fluffy, and this is gonna be awesome to add to your meals. I love just cooking this in a big batch and storing it in a Tupperware so I can add it to my lunches, I can add it to my dinners, I can have it for a snack. I can really eat this whenever I'm feeling like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and store it in a container, and then I will pop a lid on it and it will go in the fridge until I'm ready to eat it. Up next, they're gonna be oats. I absolutely love oats, and I think they're a huge staple in my pantry. I like to eat oats warm as well as cold, but for today's video, I'm gonna be showing you a cold preparation, so we will come back to the oats. So up next, we're gonna move into protein. I have a couple different protein sources that I'm excited to share with you and to show you how I prep and have those in the fridge. The first source of protein is gonna be chickpeas or garbanzo beans. For a half cup, you're gonna have 6 grams of protein, so these are a great source of protein other than meat, especially if you are vegan or vegetarian or you kind of wanna stay away from meat. Those are a great alternative, and there's a lot of ways to cook them. Option number 2 are black beans. I make sure I get no salt added. These can run high in sodium, so make sure that your sodium levels aren't too bad. And then these have 7 grams of protein per half cup, another great protein source. So to prep both of these beans, I'm just going to drain and rinse each of them. Now, if you're vegan, you know that the liquid left over from the chickpeas is like pure gold. So if you want to save that, you can save that and use that in a bunch of recipes, but the black bean juice, I'm just gonna wash down the drain. After those are washed and rinsed, I'm gonna go ahead and just pour them in storage containers, pop them in the fridge, and those will be ready to go. Moving on, my next source of protein is gonna be chicken. I like to buy this kind of big tray of chicken because it makes a lot for Darian and I, and we both can eat it for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash and trim off any excess fat to prep this chicken, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and get my crock pot, and I'm gonna start placing the chicken breasts in there. I find that cooking chicken in a crock pot makes them super tender, and it's something that I can just turn on and leave for a couple hours and the chicken will be completely cooked and I'm good to go. Another alternative is to bake these in the oven. So I'm just seasoning these with some salt, some pepper, and garlic powder. I'm also just gonna top it with a cup of chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth. It's really important to make sure you're cooking your chicken with a liquid so that it doesn't burn the bottom of your crock pot and your chicken doesn't get ruined. After that chicken is all ready to go, I'm just gonna put the lid on and I'll cook it for about 4 hours on high or until all of the chicken is cooked completely through. I'm just gonna go ahead and shred the chicken You can leave the breast whole, but I prefer to shred it. It just makes it easier to store, and it makes it feel like you have a lot more chicken, which helps with portion controls. So after proteins, we're gonna move on to prepping the vegetables. I like to have a wide variety of vegetables when it comes to meal prep. I absolutely love vegetables, and I think it's really important to encompass them into your diet and to add them and sneak them in wherever you can. So I'll show you some tips that I have of how to sneak them in. Vegetables are packed with micronutrients like minerals and vitamins and fiber that are super important to have in your diet. First up, I'm gonna be prepping broccoli. I love broccoli. It is a huge staple, and my favorite way to cook it is to steam it. But if I am prepping broccoli ahead of time, I like to roast it in the oven. So I'm just gonna trim my broccoli, get my little sprouts up, and then I'm gonna line a baking sheet with tin foil. I'm then gonna be spraying it with some nonstick spray, and then I'll just be lining up all of my broccoli on the tray. Up next, I'm gonna be prepping some sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are super nutrient dense, and they're a really good carb. So I'm just gonna wash the sweet potatoes, leave the skin on, and just dice them in small sections. I am going to line a baking tin with foil, spray it with nonstick spray, and then put the potatoes on there as well. I'm then gonna just season both the potatoes and the broccoli with salt and pepper, and then spray a little bit more of nonstick spray on top just for a light coating so they get a little bit crispy. I don't like to douse these in olive oil. That's just not what I like. I will then bake these in the oven at 425 degrees for about 15 minutes. And once they come back out of the oven all nice and roasty, they smell so good, I'm just gonna store them in Tupperware and put them in my fridge so they're ready to eat whenever I want. I'm also gonna share with you another way that I like to prep my sweet potatoes. I get so many questions on how I do this, and I'm just gonna microwave the sweet potato to pretty much bake it. It's faster than in the oven. It only takes 6 minutes in a microwave. So I go ahead and I just wash my sweet potato, and I just poke holes in the potato all around, and that helps let steam out as you're baking it in the microwave. And I'll just put it on a plate and do 3 minutes on each side. Once the potato is done, I'll take it out of the microwave, and you can see that it's all nice and cooked and it's super soft. I love this quick prep of sweet potatoes. If I need something quick, I know this only takes 6 minutes in the microwave. Up next are these little cherry tomatoes, which are honestly so delicious and colorful, and they just add a freshness to whatever you eat them with. So to prep these, all I'm gonna do is wash them and then chop all of them in half. If there are some bigger pieces, I might quarter them just to make it a little bit smaller, but then I'm just gonna store them in a Tupperware, put them in the fridge, and they're ready to go whenever I need them. Next is a cucumber. I think cucumbers are one of the best vegetables because they're great to snack on, and they're great to add to any meal as well because they just add freshness and really help give you a nice crunchy element, especially to a salad or a nourish bowl, which we will be making later on in the video. So for the cucumber, I just like to wash them, and then I will cut them into quarters. I first cut them into coins, and then I will just quarter them and store them in a Tupperware so that they're ready whenever I need them. Next up is this bag of spinach. It's pretty much already prepped, so I'm just gonna leave it in the bag and pull out a handful of spinach whenever I need it throughout the week. Next up is canned corn. So I'm just going to open up the can, I'm gonna drain and rinse the corn, and then I'm just gonna put it in a Tupperware and put it in the fridge. I personally just like having everything prepped and ready in the fridge in its own separate compartments. So when I'm hungry, I can just kind of pull a couple ingredients out, make whatever I want, pop them back in, and they're separate. But I kind of have the freedom and the creativity to make whatever meals I want with kind of all these different ingredients that I'm prepping ahead of time. Now that we're done prepping the vegetables, I'm gonna move into prepping a topping. I'm gonna show you how to make my all-time favorite mango salsa. I love this salsa. I put it on my tacos, I put it on my chicken, I put it on my salmon, I put it on my nourish bowls. Like, I eat this salsa all the time. It is my all-time favorite. So I am totally including that in this video because it's the bomb. If there is only one thing you make, it's this salsa. Oh yeah, and it only gets better as it sits in your fridge and all the juices come together. It's like, girl, yes. So to prep this salsa, you're gonna need 2 mangoes, a red pepper, a purple onion, a lime, and some cilantro. First up, I am just preparing the mango. It kind of took me a while to learn how to cut mango, but I have found that this technique works the best, and it works without fail every single time. So I just cut off 2 of the sides, and then I will cut little squares in them and then take it out with the spoon. So I will go ahead and do this to 2 mangoes, and then I will move on to the red pepper. So I'm just gonna dice this red pepper and add it into the bowl. Next, I'm gonna take about a 1/4 cup of red onion, and I'm gonna put that in the bowl. Then I'm gonna chop about a handful of cilantro and add that. I will then squeeze a whole lime on top and season it with salt and pepper, and this salsa is good to go. It is absolutely beautiful. It is so vibrant and it tastes so good. I seriously love this salsa. Like, I'm about to go eat some right now. While the cilantro and limes are out, I'm also gonna kind of prep those a little bit. I'm just gonna chop up some cilantro, put it in a Tupperware, and then I'm also just gonna make little wedges of the lime so that I can add that to a meal if I ever want to as well. I personally find that having everything prepped and ready to go in the fridge is the best way to go. I still want creativity when I'm making my meals, but having everything prepped and ready to go encourages me to eat and be creative with my food. Knowing that I have all of these vegetables and proteins and grains in my fridge ready to go, and then I can kind of mix and match and assemble whatever I want, is liberating and delicious, okay? Every single thing that I've prepped so far, I love, so I'm ready. I'm ready to chow at this point, you know what I mean? So let's start putting things together. First up, I wanted to include my overnight oats. This is a staple in my house. So everything that you will need are gonna be the oats that we talked about, cinnamon, maple syrup, or your sweetener of choice, chia seeds, and almond milk. I also use this little half mason jar to store it in, and it's just the perfect size. So for 1 serving, I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup of oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, a little sprinkle of cinnamon, about a tablespoon of maple syrup, and a 1/2 cup of almond milk. Now, once this is made and it's in its little jar, you can stir it up and just pop it in the fridge, and it's ready for you whenever you want to eat it. I honestly have been loving eating this just right after I make it because the chia seeds are kind of crunchy and I like that. So I will just make this in the morning. It takes me about a minute or 2, and then I'm just happy because I'm like, yo, I got this good oatmeal and it's happy, gives me energy, and the chia seeds help with my digestion, which I love, love, love. So this is the best of both worlds. But it's also good if you just want to leave it in the fridge. If you're on the go, grab it, head out the door. Girl, I got you. Next, I'm gonna talk about snacks. Now, there are a million different snacks out there. Like, you could pick anything to snack on. It just kind of depends on my mood and what I've been eating recently as to what my snacks are. So the snacks that I'm gonna include, you honestly could also eat for breakfast. These are very quick and easy snacks that you can kind of pull together. So the first one is just gonna be yogurt, granola, and fruit. Now, I personally am dairy free, so these are the yogurts that I found that work with me. One is made out of coconut milk, and then Silk is made with soy. And the Silk dairy free yogurt is to die for, okay? It is seriously like the best yogurt ever. The coconut milk ones are okay. They're just really high in sugar and don't have any protein, so it's almost an empty snack, and it's not really my favorite. For granola, I like to get the Nature's Valley protein granola. I personally like it just because it adds a little bit more protein. This is also high in sugar, so this is a higher carb, but it is delicious, it's filling, and it is a healthier alternative to a lot of snacks out there, like a bag of chips. Up next is another really fun snack. It's just gonna be a banana, some blueberries, granola, and almond milk. I'm just gonna have a serving of the granola, a 1/2 cup of almond milk, 1/2 of banana, and a handful of blueberries. This is honestly like a fun little cereal snack. This also is great to have in the morning. You can add some nuts to it. You can kind of jazz up this little snack or breakfast as much or as little as you want. And might I add, it is absolutely delicious. Moving on to lunch, I'm gonna start with a little Nourish bowl. So we're gonna start by adding salad. Then I'm gonna add some of that quinoa that I cooked, a handful of cucumber, a handful of cherry tomatoes, a handful of corn, a couple spoonfuls of beans, and a handful of chickpeas. I'm gonna top it off with some cilantro and some of that yummy salsa that I made, and this meal is good to go. This meal is super fresh and healthy. All of the ingredients in here are super good for you, and it takes about a minute to assemble because everything's already prepped in the fridge. You just kind of throw it all in together. Now, once again, this is just how I like to prep. If you wanna have everything already in a Tupperware, go for it. I personally like to be able to add what I want, and I just like to keep things separated until I'm ready to eat them. So up next, with all the ingredients that we've made, you can kind of make a combo, get creative, make whatever you want, but I want to show you 2 other dinners or meal ideas that you can make with the food that we have already prepped. So the first dinner, we're gonna be using the broccoli and the sweet potatoes. If you wanna use a food scale, go ahead, you can be my guest. You can totally make this macro friendly. I just kind of eyeball it. That's just how I prefer to eat. So I've got some broccoli, some sweet potatoes, chicken, and a little bit of barbecue sauce. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you know this is one of my all-time favorites and I eat it almost every single day. Bless up, this meal is just one of my favorites of all time. It's so near and dear to my heart, so I just had to include it, you know? I am one of those people where if I like something, I kind of stay with that food until I'm ready to break up, you know? But this has been a good marriage so far, so I'm just gonna keep it going. Up next, it's gonna be kind of similar to the lunch, but we're gonna add some spinach, some quinoa, add some of that shredded chicken, and top it with a lot of that salsa. Oh boy. Let me just say, the combination of chicken and this salsa is to die for. Like, you are not gonna know what hits you until you eat this. Something that I find that's really important when you're meal prepping or meal planning is to have food that you actually enjoy. If you're somebody who doesn't like spinach, I don't really like spinach. It's really hard for me to eat it. I just have to put it in my smoothies. Don't add the spinach into this, okay? If you're like force feeding yourself, like, don't do it. Find another vegetable that you like, throw it in there. Get some Brussels sprouts, get some asparagus, maybe even romaine lettuce you like. Whatever it is, throw it in this bowl and eat it with dinner. It's so important to make sure that what you're making you actually like so that you're gonna eat it. 1, so you don't waste any food, and 2, so you're actually getting those nutrients into your body. Now, last but not least, you know I have to include dessert. Girlfriend, I have to have dessert. Every single day I have to have some type of dessert, some type of sweet tooth. Like, I have to have something or I'm gonna go crazy. Okay? That's how I am. That is how most of us are, I feel like, or you know, I don't know. But, girlfriend, I got you. There is a dessert. Woo! Do you remember that 6-minute microwave sweet potato? I'm about to rock your world. So, pop up that little sweet potato or pop it in the microwave and make this nice and warm. So, I'm just going ahead and I am peeling the sweet potato. The skins come off super easy once you have microwaved it. You're gonna need Legendary Foods pecan pie almond butter. I have a link in the description box below. Thank me later. You can use almond butter or peanut butter with this, and I'm just gonna add a little teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon, however generous I'm feeling, and mix it up. And let me tell you, this tastes like sweet potato casserole. This is the best dessert I've ever made. This beats dessert oats by infinity. Like, this honestly is a staple that I have to eat every single day. I'm just like, yo, I'm craving my sweet potato casserole. Let's get it, girl. I don't have to wait for Thanksgiving anymore. I can have Thanksgiving every single night for dessert. And you wanna know what that dessert is? A sweet potato and a tablespoon of almond butter. Like, that is so healthy. My mind is blown. My mind is blown, and I'm just so grateful. I'm gonna go hug a cactus. Aren't we just so grateful? Yes, we are. We are grateful. From my home to yours. So that's the end of this video. I honestly really hope that you liked it. If you did, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video by me. If you want more day in the life, more meals and recipes, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of little pictures of what I eat throughout my day, so hopefully that can help you as well. I really hope that you took something from this video. Maybe you can figure out how to plan for yourself, or you can try this meal prep, or you can try some of these recipes that I shared. Please let me know if you found this video helpful down in the comments below, or tell me the meal that you want to try the most. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!